Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, kindly subscribe and turn on your notification for you to always get notified each time I upload a new video. So in our today's class, we are looking at how to derive the quadratic formula. Now, in derivation of quadratic formula, we use the completing the square method of solving quadratic equation. Now, in our previous classes, we treated solutions of quadratic equations using completing the square method. So if you have not watched that video, I refer you to go back and watch solutions of quadratic equations using completing the square method for a better understanding of how to derive the quadratic formula using the completing the square method. Now, the quadratic formula is the root of the general form of the quadratic equation. And the general form of the equations that we've known is ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Now, when this general form of quadratic equation is resolved using the completing the square method, the root is what is known as the quadratic formula. And the root is now this is what is known as quadratic formula. Now let's look at how we arrive at this from this. Okay, given a quadratic equation in its general form, we take the first step of solving quadratic equation using the completing the square method by dividing all through by the coefficient of x squared, which is a. Now we divide through by a. That will give us a x squared divided by a plus bx divided by a plus c divided by a equals to 0. Now a cancels a and we left with x squared plus b over a, the coefficient of x here, plus c over a is equals to 0. Now that is the first step in completing the square method. The second step, we take the constant term to the right hand side of the equation. That means we need to subtract c over a from both sides. By that we have x squared plus b over a x. Now because we are subtracting c over a from this side, this will turn 0. We now have equals to 0 minus c over a. And we have c over a. Now we are moving to the third step of solving equation using completing the square method, which says take the coefficient of x. Now the coefficient of x is b all over a. Divide by 2. Dividing it by 2 is the same as multiplying by 1 over 2. Now this will give us b over 2a. Now square the result. We now square it and add to both sides of the equation. So we now say add b all over 2a squared to both sides of the equation. And this gives us x squared plus b all over ax plus b all over 2a all squared is equals to, and we put b all over 2a squared first, and then we put minus c all over a. Now we are going to factorize the left hand side and simplify the right hand side. This is a sum of two squares. So we have x plus b all over 2a all squared, which is equals to, we square the fraction, we have b squared divided by the square of 2a is 4a squared minus c all over a. Now let's simplify this. That will give us x plus b all over 2a all squared is equals to 4a squared, which is the highest common factor of the denominator, or the lowest common multiple of the denominator, which is the LCM of the denominators. Now up here we have b squared minus 4ac. Alright, having simplified this, we take the next step, which says we should square both sides of the equation. Now squaring both sides of the equation gives us x plus b all over 2a is equals to plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 4a squared. Now taking the square root of the numerator and the denominator, we have x plus b all over 2a is equals to plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. We now subtract b all over 2a from both sides. That gives us x equals to minus b divided by 2a plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now you see that the two fractions have the same denominator, so we have x is equals to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Now this is the quadratic formula. This quadratic formula can be used to solve any form of quadratic equation. So that is how we solve from the general form of the quadratic equation down to the roots, which is called the quadratic formula. In our next video, we are going to be looking at how to use this formula and solve quadratic equations. So see you in our next video, and do not forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button to always see my new videos.